Welcome to Wisden India's coverage of the Old Trafford Test. An ultimately frustrating second day's play, only 36 overs possible. Frustrating for both teams really, because India got 3 wickets fairly early on in the morning. England fought back very well with the 6-7 run partnership between Joe Root and Jos Buttler. It's quite intriguingly poised with England 85 ahead and plenty of inclement weather about. Joining me is Lawrence Booth, editor of the Wisden Almanac. Lawrence, what did you make of the brief passage of play that we had? Because there was quite a bit of back and forth.
Yeah, I thought 140 for 5 when Kumar removed Jordan and Bell in consecutive overs. India were right in the game. England was still trailing by 12 at that point. And even when Moeen Ali got out to make it 170 for 6, I thought that with England batting last in this game, it wasn't quite 50-50, but it was sort of 60-40 to England probably. I thought that little partnership between Joe Root and Jos Buttler turned England's way a bit. I was a bit surprised that after lunch Dhoni opened with Pankaj Singh and Ravindra Jadeja when Bhuvneshwar and Varun Aaron have bowled so well. I know he has to sort of manage the 2 fast bowlers, but there's only so much longer Pankaj can go on being Mr. Unlucky, and I thought Jadeja has looked sort of probably the least threatening of India's 5 bowlers in this test. But you know, if England can get a lead of up to 150, depending on the weather, then they'll be in a strong position. Yeah,
and you would think the way the game's set up now, it's almost perfect for Root and Buttler, who are stroke players who like to play their shots, and there's Broad to come, Wokes to come. Even if they just play naturally, a lead of 150 should be, eminently possible.
Yeah, I was impressed by how busy they looked, Root and Buttler. They were, it wasn't just a case of going for big shots. They assessed the conditions and they knew that they had to take the singles, and they had to get forward on a pitch that's still offering a lot of swing. Bhuvneshwar looked excellent again after a slightly listless performance in Southampton. Pankaj Singh, there have been moments of misfortune again. Perhaps he hasn't been quite as unfortunate as he was in the Ageas Bowl. And Varun Aaron has unsettled England with his pace. He's got 3 very good wickets. He worked over Moeen Ali brilliantly today, didn't he? Gave him a couple of short ones and then an absolutely unplayable fast in-swinger, which probably wasn't helped by, Mike Atherton analysed this quite well on TV, by Ali's very high backlift. He couldn't get down in time and the ball cannoned off his pads. That was a great piece of fast bowling. But yeah, England do bat deep, and I think if their lead is 3 figures and beyond, that's going to be tough for India.
Yeah, but it also makes you wonder, you spoke about Varun Aaron and the extra pace, but it makes you wonder whether India really know what their best attack is. Because right through the tour we've seen plenty of chopping and changing, and I don't think they still know who their best 4 or 5 bowlers are.
I think that's right. I think they made a predetermined decision that they were going to play 2 spinners at Old Trafford. I spoke to Duncan Fletcher briefly on the outfield at the end of the Trent Bridge Test, and we were talking about which pitches might turn, and he said, "Oh, we've got Old Trafford down as the one." So I think they thought that this was the place to bowl both their slow guys. The irony is that the conditions have helped swing bowlers, and with Pankaj Singh kind of looking like the hittable bowler in this attack, you're essentially operating with a 2-man attack, and that makes things very tough for Dhoni. He has to use Varun Aaron sparingly. I think it was 6 over spell today, which is just about the extent for a young fast bowler with an injury history.
Of injury, yeah.
And Bhuvneshwar can't do it all by himself. So yeah, again, you think they probably got the balance wrong. It's unfortunate because I think the conditions have counted against them in this test.
A lot of talk about the weather forecast for the upcoming days, that we might get hit by the remnants of a hurricane and all that, but can you see a result if England can press on a bit tomorrow morning?
Absolutely. There's talk of Sunday, Monday being very bad. These long-range forecasts in the UK are often meaningless. A hurricane could hit Manchester and miss Old Trafford. You just never know. But the forecast for tomorrow is slightly better. A bit of rain, possibly sort of late-ish afternoon, but look, I predicted a passing shower today on Twitter based on the satellite, and that proved hopelessly wrong. But if England get a full day tomorrow, who knows, they could win. If there's cloud cover and they have a lead of 150 and India struggle again, if no one bats like Dhoni did in the first innings, or to a lesser extent Ashwin, even Rahane, then England could wrap it up tomorrow. It's probably unlikely, but it's not impossible.
Finally, all summer, not just the England-India series, but Sri Lanka before that, there's been talk of a lack of English conditions when England play. It seems to be very English right now.
Yeah, this is what they've been crying out for, really. It's not just the pitch, which has a bit of pace and bounce in it. The fastest pitch we've seen in the 6 tests this summer. It's also the bounce that they're getting, and you throw in the overhead conditions as well. I mean, the way Anderson made it swing on the first morning was sensational to watch, really. He was moving it both ways, and it was almost impossible to bat against, and Broad backed him up brilliantly from the other end. I mean, England's only problem is the backup seamers. Chris Wokes and Chris Jordan haven't really supported them very well so far. If one of those gets it right and Anderson and Broad continue to bowl as well as they did in the first innings, that's going to be very tough for India.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Lawrence. And that's it from day 2. Hopefully we'll get more play on day 3 tomorrow. Thank you.